Can you believe that 4 years into running my YouTube channel, I still do not have a giant bird of paradise video? The client asked about it. I'm like, oh, let me send you one. And I'm like, there is none. So here we go. Giant bird of paradise. What a crowd pleaser this is. This is a plant that is native to South Africa. It is related to the banana. A lot of people think it's a banana, but it's really not. It's got the same type of foliage as a banana, but unlike a banana, it's much tougher and resists the wind better and doesn't get ripped up as bad. It still gets ripped up if the winds are really bad, but not as bad as a banana. And it looks a lot nicer in the wintertime than a banana does. And they do great here in the Bay Area. We are currently in San Leandro at a really beautiful property, actually. And I'll show you this property a little bit. I just saw it on the side of the road. Hopefully they're cool with me gawking at their plants from the sidewalk. But, well, maybe not quite from the sidewalk, but now from the sidewalk. And yeah, so this is a really good application. This plant is multi-trunking, as you can see, multi-trunks. See the multi-trunks coming up? And what's nice about that is if one trunk gets too big and too tall, what do? You just cut it down. And then guess what happens? Let me show you. A new baby sprouts up and it starts all over again. And so there's no need to fear this plant getting too big for its place. And as you can see, these people are on a really busy road. So I think the design here is just to kind of give them some privacy on their deck right there from people like me who might be gawking at their garden. And let's see what else. They've also got them trimmed really nicely. They have a really beautiful ringed trunk, which you can see here. I'll get a close up right here in the shade here. See the ringed trunk right there? You can shave off this material right here, and then it gives you that beautiful ringed trunk. They've got them trimmed really nicely all the way up. It looks like somebody actually took a chainsaw cut right there. Just cut the whole thing off with a chainsaw. That's actually a fast way of doing it. I've never done it that way myself, but that's one way of doing it. So once you trim it all back like that and make it look super neat, it is really pretty. It's kind of like me with the shave, which happened yesterday. Was that extreme close up? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, yesterday. So got to get back on it pretty soon here to keep looking good, just like this tree. So I'd say like once a year you come in and trim it up a little bit. It'll look like this. Now it's frost tender at about 25 degrees. It'll freeze, but then it'll just look like someone torched it, and then it'll come roaring back in spring. That's if it stays above 20 degrees. If it gets below 20 degrees, you might start losing these stalks and they'll start dying, and they'll die down, and then then guess what happens? Boom. It's like you were forced to prune it. It just sprouts up again, and the whole process starts all over again. So it's not that bad of a scenario. It's actually extremely drought tolerant once it is in location. It has stores a lot of moisture in the stems of these trunks here. If you cut those open, they would just drip water out of them, so they can hold a lot of water. And also, the root system is pretty elaborate, and it has big, chunky, fleshy pieces of root. If you ever dig one up, you'll see it, and they hold a ton of water. So they harbor all that water from the wintertime and release it all summer long to the plant when it needs it. Now, these plants, when they're this big and this established, if you never watered them again, they would be fine, believe it or not. So they're that adaptable. And they're really useful in areas like right next to architecture. You could see there's only like 5-6 feet of depth between that railroad tie and the eave of the house. Yet you can have a lot of mass going up, and it creates a really nice privacy screen. We sell these as privacy screens all the time. Most common size we sell is a 15-gallon container. It would take a tree 25, 30 years of growth to get this big from a 25-gallon container. We also sell them from large sizes, and so keep that in mind. But it's the perfect plant to give you that tropical feeling. If you want a banana-like feeling, but you don't want to look at banana every winter will look terrible. Whereas these, as long as it doesn't go below 25 degrees, these will continue to look really good, and they'll hold up in the wind better. Really windy locations, the foliage will actually rip. You can see the ripped foliage on that one.
That's because that's been exposed to the atmosphere for so long that it's had to put up with a lot of storms. More storms, more little tears it gets. And then as you get progressively closer to the center, there's no rips at all in the center one because it hasn't been subjected to any wind at all because it was just born like a brand new baby. So that's, you know, that's how life is. The longer you've been out in the atmosphere, the worse you look. And I've been out for a while, so that's my excuse. So anyway, it looks fantastic against the blue sky. And I think that's pretty much all there is to say about this particular plant. There's another plant called Ravenala madagascarensis, the traveler's palm. And that's a really loud truck, but we'll continue on anyway. The traveler's palm is a really big palm from Madagascar, just across the pond from South Africa. And it's just like this, except it's probably 2 or 3 times as big. So people come back from vacations in the tropics, and they're like, Gary, I want that thing that fans out, really big thing. You know, they usually call me from the pool bar when they're super buzzed. And they're like, I'm looking at this thing. It's like against the wall of the building. It's all fanning out. It's like a big giant banana. Will that grow at home? And I'm like, not really well. They barely grow in Southern California. But up here in the Northern California, I've never seen a really nice big one yet. I'd love to. Prove me wrong. And I'd love to go do a video. We'll hang out. I'll buy the beer. You invite me over there. Anyway, this is like kind of like a more better scaled version of that same plant, traveler's palm. And if you trim it up really well like this, it gives you that traveler's palm feeling of this big fan coming out. And you could even have a single stalk. You can cut off all the babies and just have one crazy leaning one. In that case, that one's going to grow really fast because all the nutrients of the root zone are going to go into one stem instead of spreading out everywhere. So if that's what you want, then you can get that too. I'm going to just, and you can see down here a little more. I'm just going to walk up just a little bit more. I don't know. I don't hear any big dogs. I want to show you this really beautiful pygmy palm. I just noticed that it starts in there, comes all the way out, and then it hangs over the driveway. That's awesome. If I had more time, I would stop and ring the door and say hello. But if I do that, they're going to want me to hang out, go in the backyard, have some beers, and it'll be like 7 p.m. I'm supposed to go do a consult right now, so I really got to go. But they've got some great plants here, big canary palms that are trimmed really well. They've got really nice Dorianthus. That's the plant right there from New Zealand. Like it's a big red flower. It's really pretty. They've got the big king palms in the back there. There's the big king palms back there. They've got a nice Ravenea rivularis right in the front. What else do they have? Some pygmy palms and giant queen palms. So I bet the back is superfluous, super fluid. Anyway, that's a big, beautiful sago palm. And who's this? What do you think? Look at this place. Looks super awesome. You know these people?
I do. I am these people.
Are you?
Yeah.
I love your car, man.
Thank you.
I have a YouTube channel. I was stalking your garden. My name's Scary Harry Gary.
Want to walk around the back?
I told you that would happen. I go really fast. I'm late for a consultation. I just said in the video that
I'll be quiet.
I just said no. You tell me the whole story. We want to hear it from you.
No, you won't hear it.
Oh, come on.
I mean, it won't be long.
Yeah. How long you been here? What's your name?
Years. Tim.
Tim. Right on, Tim.
38 years.
38 years.
Yeah.
This is
it all.
super awesome. I was talking all about the giant birds.
Rocks and junipers when I got here.
See what happens when they find out you're at their house? They're like, come in the backyard. That's exactly what I said. Yeah. I'll just have to be late. Supposed to meet people later tonight too after this consult, and they're gonna be. So I'm gonna have 2 people mad at me for hanging out with you, but it's gonna be worth it. Look at this, all these palms. So are you in the Palm Society?
Actually, my friends were. They lived in Oakland, and their house burnt down in Broadway.
Oh, Greg.
Greg and John.
Yeah, I knew them from back in the day.
And they're now in Altadena.
Right.
They got me started on this. But these are
I was gonna say,
all the cheapy stuff, right? These are Volkswagens compared to the stuff.
Right. I know. You're right.
Yeah.
Volkswagen makes a good car, though.
Yeah. Oh, yes. True.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Look at this. You got the little water fountain in the back. Everybody always wants to know what's behind the gate. So now we know. Got the beautiful rose on the wall and giant queen palms. You have somebody doing a good job trimming.
He does a very good job.
Yeah.
He comes every 2 years.
And here's the lady palm here. So this is definitely. You could have a little Palm Society meeting. I'm not, guess what?
I'm the president of the Palm Society
you?
now. Yeah.
Are you?
I never ran for president. I was. They made me bring president. It was going to disband. And I'm like, I'll have 3 meetings next year. I'll have one at my house, one at my ranch, one at my nursery. This is my nursery, Golden Gate Palms. Woo! And then they're like,
been
great.
there.
Oh, cool.
I've been
Yeah,
there.
that's me.
Yeah,
So then they
long time ago.
then they basically sent out an email saying Gary's going to have all the parties next year, and he's the new president. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't run for president. So look at the beautiful Ravenna. There's a big old sable palm. That's a gorgeous.
That was a Greg and John.
I bet
They gave it to me.
They gave
wanted
that to you. Yeah.
And they gave you these here.
Reclinata. Yeah.
Wicked son of a guns.
They
right?
are. They are.
And then
You gotta really love
we
that plant
adopted 4
having
kids, all babies, and all those things were down low.
The kids learn their lesson once.
Yeah, they still have both their eyes.
Every one of them. All it takes is one time with a kid, and they'll never do it again.
Yeah,
That's
even
what
the
I
ends
think.
of the fronds are
Oh yeah, they'll
pokey,
get you.
know,
Yeah.
they come like-
No, I trim those things. I try not to trim them. Look at the beautiful Ravenna there. Isn't that pretty cool? Okay.
My partner used to tell me, so these were on either side of the front porch. Oh, they're getting too big. So they just go in the ground. I put something else there.
Nice.
But that's what happened.
Look at the trunk on this thing.
Yeah.
The fun thing to do is come up, give it a little slap. Hear that sound?
Yeah.
It's a great sound. There's the beautiful trunk of the Ravenna from
That
Madagascar.
was one of the ones that went in the front.
Look how smooth
They
that is.
both got planted at the same time back here, but this one took off.
These, if they're out of the wind, they look great. If they're in the wind, they get a little beat up and they look more like that.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
but this is a
I
spectacular
got one in the front
one.
there, I believe.
Yeah. And then this guy's getting a little too crazy. You're having to tell him what to do.
Yeah.
You're
helping them along.
you got to remind him that you're the boss, not him. Right? And that's about as fat of a trunk of a queen palm I've ever seen.
Those things are.
Look
that
at,
one is a
look
huge
at that's my
one, huh?
foot. Look at my foot. Look how fat that is. That is a big boy queen palm right there.
They all went in the ground at the same time. My partner's sister had a wedding here, and my partner said, introduced, congratulations. She left. He said, the wedding's going to be here, and it's going to be in a month. So I had king palms that I put 55-gallon barrels, about 5 of them,
All right.
and they were here and around, and then that was the year we had the horrible frost.
Oh yeah. Is that
30 years ago,
1990?
30 years ago, or
Did
something
you know?
like
Did
that.
you know Inga? She lived right down the street from
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, Inga
Yeah.
Hoffman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that house
right down the
has now
street.
got a little yes, and that
They
one
hired
big
me-
thing
yeah, I
about
went
that
over
one
there.
was that it was all botanical names and stuff.
Yeah.
People from Cal State used to
Yeah.
come over there, and
Oh yeah. No, we
We
were
used to walk them
Yeah,
through.
I was
Yeah,
friends with all
yeah.
those people.
yeah,
they're all getting old and dying off, and I'm still here. Look at this thing. Oh man, this is amazing paradise. It's Craig, right? Tim.
yeah,
Last guy I was
And
with
yours?
was Craig. Tim. My name's Gary.
Gary.
The way you remember that? See the legs?
Harry Gary.
Yeah! Scary Harry Gary. That's how you remember that. All right. Well, what a fantastic little job. You got your equisetum in the corner. That's a perfect little plant right there. This is
other
good
one-
for a pot because you don't want to put this in the ground. It'll run all over the place.
Oh yeah, no,
But it's
that's
perfect.
exactly
Perfect for that.
And actually, that I just had this thing redone. It was actually original brick in the ground.
Right.
1942. The house was built, and now I'm not picking my legs up so much. So I like that thing, so I did it that way. But that palm tree there,
Oh, yeah.
was
That's a
here
nice
in the
one.
corner.
That's a bootia. That's a real nice bootia.
That was a Greg and John
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Looks like this is your favorite color. You got your shirt. You got the.
Yeah, there you
This
go.
is good.
It's
This
all
is good.
matching. Yeah.
All right. And that's a really nice fat trunk.
And that was
Camadoria
Raul-
radicalis, tall variety.
Raul and
Raul?
and they're in Oakland.
Uh-huh.
Raul.
I know that name sounds familiar. No, I know who you're
And-
talking
and
about.
now-
This is
but-
kind of cool.
This came from the backyard. I got to get it taken apart and get redipped.
Yeah, that's pretty
And,
fun.
and I got
like
colors.
the
I
patina.
got colors and stuff. Well, it's not gonna have colors anymore.
Oh,
You're
you're gonna.
But you got to take it all the way apart. And I got to find a guy.
So you're not gonna take advantage of the patina anymore?
No.
Oh man, I thought that was the best thing about it.
Came from my grandma.
Oh well, if you took advantage of the patina, you'd have to do nothing.
Yes, there you
That's
go.
my
Yeah.
style. Yeah. And what kind of car is that? That car looks great in here.
That's a Charger.
That's a Charger.
And these bad boys, when I put them in the ground, I brought them home in the back of a Ranchero.
Now they weigh about 50,000 pounds each. I know exactly
Yes,
how much
the
those
fron-
weigh.
The fronds were in the ground.
Wow.
When I planted them.
Wow.
So
Just-
so that's 35 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like you lucked out on both of them and gotten males. They don't drop seed. You got really lucky.
These don't.
Males only constitute 1 out of 4 in the population because you only need 1 bull and a whole pasture of cows, right? Same idea.
That's the same. These
Yeah.
queens are now beginning their next batch, and it makes marbles on the ground out
Yeah.
there for old people.
Well, if
Oh my
these
God.
were females, there'd be these things your whole life. You'd be pulling them out.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful about that. Well, thanks so much, Tim.
Yes, Tim.
Right on,
Yes.
Tim.
All right. Take
Thanks
care.
so much for having us over.
Okay.
I'll let you know when this thing airs, and that way you'll be famous.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
you'll have all kinds of people coming over there wanting to hang out with you. And I apologize for that.
No, it's all right. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I won't give out your address though.
Yeah.
There you go. That's where Tim lives. And that's Tim's super awesome 3.5 liter high output.
17-year-old. Not bad. but-
That's 17 years?
17.
Looks like it's brand new.
Brand new, first year.
Oh my gosh. Look at this thing. 17 years. That thing is sharp. All right.
Okay.
You're living the dream.
All right. Take care.